The Chicago Bulls take on the New Orleans Pelicans with several mismatches for the Chicago Bulls on the defensive side of the ball. How will the Bulls take care of business today? We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. This is not going to be as easy of a game as what the records will tell you. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. Anybody looking at the Pelicans record and is expecting the Chicago Bulls to come into this one and have any semblance of a blowout, don't even worry about it. It's not going to happen. Not with Zion Williamson and Derik Queen in that game. Two players that are going to be such a major mismatch problem for the Chicago Bulls. And the Bulls are also without Nikola Vucevic in this game. So the Bulls are rolling into this game with just Jalen Smith at center. That's it. Now, Lachlan Albrick as well. He's going to be on the bench. You know, we got Noah Essengay, who was activated as well. Could that mean that some of those guys could see some minutes? Possibly. I wouldn't necessarily bet on it, but it is a possibility here for the Chicago Bulls to do something like that. But it's going to be a very, very interesting night defensively for the Chicago Bulls team. And you know what? I can't even say I'm surprised by it. Like, even if Vooch was playing today, I wouldn't even be able, in my right mind, to be able to say, oh, yeah, the Bulls just got this because Vooch is playing. Like, this is just going to be a really interesting game to see how this shakes out and balances out from the defensive standpoint for the Chicago Bulls. Now, for what it's worth, the Pelicans are towards the bottom of the league of defense rating, towards the bottom of the league of offense rating, all that type of shit. But I said the same thing about the Utah Jazz, and look how that game went, right? So, you know, you just never know with this Bulls team, especially when they're missing pieces of their rotation. You just never know how it's going to go for this Bulls team. So this is going to be a tough matchup tonight, and the Bulls are going to have to really lock in and execute really well throughout the entirety of this game if they're going to want a chance to be able to pull this one out. That's just it. They're going to have to lock in and try to get this shit done because this shit ain't going to be easy, not by any stretch of the imagination. This is about to be a really, really tough game for this Bulls team. Mark my words. Mark my words. A really, really tough game for this Bulls team that's coming up today. And just deal with that for how you will, man. So they're going to have to lock in. You know, Jalen Smith has been playing really good for the Chicago Bulls, so the hope is that's going to continue for this Bulls team, of course. But there's never any guarantee when it comes down to this team because we are wildly, when you get off the slow starts like the Chicago Bulls do, and you have bad finishes as well with the Bulls being one of the worst fourth-quarter teams in basketball, all those type of things shape you up to be able to be taken advantage of by just about any team when it comes down to that. So we'll see. Archangel says, do the Pelicans' stats even matter, though, now that Zion's back? That's a good point, too. It does not matter. Take that up, ball it all away, throw it away. Throw everything that you think you know about the Pelicans away. Because now we're going to have to really see what this team is built off of, man. Really going to have to see what this team could do today. And, hey, that's what basketball is all about, though, is going out there on the basketball court, proving what you can do. And we'll just see what that's going to look like, man, and what this Bulls team ends up doing tonight. And that's all we can ask for from this Bulls team is come out there, perform, see what you're going to do, and we'll see what's going to happen, man. Is Kevin Huerter playing tonight? I think he is. I don't remember seeing anything about Kevin Huerter not playing today, so I believe he is. We're just trying to make us wish he was back. That is hilarious. So we're going to back up Jalen Smith at center. It's probably going to be Lachlan Albrick. Or P. Wood. Look, keep in mind, too, because it's not like the centers on the Pelicans are shorter in stature. Derik Queen, even Yves Missy, right? So, you know, they may play – you may see a lot of P. Will at backup center. If P. Will's playing – is P. Will out today, too? Hold on, because I could be talking out the side of my neck. P. Will could be out again today, too. And if P. Will's out, be prepared. We're going to see a lot of Lachlan Albrick and Noah Essengay today if P. Will is also out. So, hold on. I'm trying to find the report. Kevin Huerter's on the game day image, so hopefully that means Kevin Huerter's going to be playing today. We hope. Smitty Sticks, triple-double. Let's see. We'll see. Next big man up, but it's definitely not going to be that easy. We only have one left. Exactly. Like, next man up only helps so much until you get to a certain point to where you're looking at a player that may not even be NBA level. That's just how that works. So let's see what the Bulls are going to do today. Still don't know why we don't get why we drafted Noah over Queen. That has to be talked about. No, I think it's pretty straightforward. Derik Queen is a very ball-dominant player. He just is. Go and look at his usage rate. It's the same thing we talked about with Jonathan Kuminga not fitting. You can't have three ball-dominant players. You just can't. You can't now. I will say this. Derik Queen has been a better assist man than I did think he would be coming into the NBA. But I think the Bulls looked at it and said, we want to go defense, we want to go upside, and we want to go fit. Derik Queen isn't the most natural fit with Josh Giddey and Kobe White on your team while you're still trying to develop Modest Buzelis. I think that's the thing. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't overthink it some. There's a case to be made at take the best talent and figure it the fuck out. But I'm just saying that their logic in it makes some sense. You have never seen three ball-dominant players really work on a basketball team. It just doesn't usually work. So so they decided to go a different direction. I think the thing that kind of more so stands out to me about the whole Derik Queen thing is that if I'm not mistaken, they didn't even work him out. Like, they just didn't even, like, they identified very early into the draft process, Queen probably isn't the guy for us, and didn't even work him out. And that's a problem. Jalen Smith, no ice breaks. Do you think Modest is better suited for the small forward or power forward? In the modern NBA, there's no difference. Like, in Billy Donovan's system especially, there's almost no difference between how you have the two of them. I'll say this, though. Modest Buzelis in the shot blocking. Keep in mind, Modest Buzelis has been averaging a little over 2 blocks per game over almost last 10 games. If you move him small forward, you're moving him further away from the rim, and then you may negate some of his shot blocking. So I think right now Modest is fine at power forward. If and when you do move him to small forward, you got to make sure you got a front line that can also protect the rim because you're negating one. And that's not to say that Modest isn't still going to get blocks even if he moves to the 3, but just schematically he's going to be further away from the rim, so those are going to become less frequent. Those opportunities are going to become less frequent. So I think because of where we are right now with this team, it makes sense for Modest to be a small forward. Now, as a power forward. As Noah Essengate develops, you could naturally see Modest move to the small forward position. Why will P. Will be out? He was listed on the injury report as questionable. Is Kobe allowed to play more minutes? I know they upped his minutes restriction from 24 to 28. I don't know if they've upped it again further than that. So we'll see. P. Will is in, Kevin Huerter is out. There we go. Says Kevin Huerter is out. Yeah, that sucks. My guy, my brother, my homie, what's good? How you been? How do you like the Chicago Bears? Why don't you show up to Chicago Bears Central to ask Bears questions? You know better than anybody else. We have a whole Bears channel. Why would you be showing up here to ask questions about the Chicago Bears when you know you subscribe to the Bears channel? But, I love the win. I always love when my team wins. I always love when they win. Okoro out, Huerter out, Vooch out, and Dalen Terry is also out. All right, there you go. I love when Giddey gets everyone involved in the offense, but personally I think that when the rest of the Bulls are struggling to make their shots, Josh needs to be more aggressive on offense. Well, remember, he was very aggressive until that ankle injury. He hasn't really been as aggressive with getting to the rim then. And then I think he was also dealing with, like, a finger sprain somewhere in there too. So those are things that could be limited him a little bit, but I feel it's nothing to worry about. Josh Giddey will be back to his normal aggressive self here sooner rather than later, I feel. Zion loves Derik Queen too because his initials are DQ. That's hilarious. That is really fucking funny. That is actually quite hilarious. Yes, Kobe is playing tonight. Kobe's only not playing back-to-back. So we don't have another game till Friday, and then we have a back-to-back Friday and Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see which game they play him in that back-to-back, unless by then he's off the restriction and they're allowing him to play. I don't think they'll allow him to play back-to-backs until December because if I'm not mistaken, we have this back-to-back to end November. But then I don't think we have another back-to-back. Just want to see. Yeah, we don't have a back-to-back to the end of December. So if he doesn't play in one of the games either Friday or Saturday, we don't have another back-to-back until December 26th and December 27th. So there's a lot of space in there between, and that's probably why they limited the back-to-backs, because they knew we had those 3 sets of back-to-backs when he returned, and then we don't have another one for a month. So, you know, the fact that he's still on a back-to-back restriction, that's not really gonna bother us at all in December. And the hope is by the end of December, he's definitely playing back-to-backs again. Like, let's hope they're still not holding him out on back-to-backs at that point in time. It's going to come down to the end of we going to get a blowout. Well, I mean, I don't feel that way, but we'll see. Still feel like we should have drafted Danny Wolf. Listen, here's the thing. Let's even take that out of the consideration. You know who the Bulls could have had without even trading anything? They could have had Noah Essengate and Ryan Kalkbrenner. Ryan Kalkbrenner right now is one of the best rookies in the class, and he was drafted in the 2nd round. This is why, like, I get it. Not all second-round picks turn out to something. But when you're in a deep draft, you have to do your due diligence all the way into the 2nd round. Like, they literally gave up Mark Williams, and Ryan Kalkbrenner has come right in, and is basically, he's not the scorer, 9 points. He's averaging 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks per game, and he's shooting 80% from the field. And they don't even ask him to do a lot offensively. He was picked in the 2nd round. This is what we're talking about. When we talk about the shit that AK misses, it's shit like that. Like, for example, drafting Dalen Terry over Walker Kessler, huge miss. The P. Will thing, I'll give you, but not a lot of people had Tyrese Maxey or any of those guys above P. Will. I'm talking about people who legitimately were above. Walker Kessler was higher on the draft board than every draft that I saw Dalen Terry in, and you passed on that. Imagine just how different it looks like if we had Walker Kessler here for the last few years. So it's little shit like that, bro. Even if you didn't get Ryan Kalkbrenner, if I'm not mistaken, Zikarsky also went after the Bulls would have picked. So, like, it's just that type of shit that the Bulls miss on. Rocco Zikarsky was drafted in 45th. He was drafted with our pick. Ain't that some shit? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is why you got, like, when you're, and listen, I'm not somebody who's mad when you don't play rookies, but when you're looking at trying to get talent, quality talent, and develop that talent, you cannot be giving up talent like Rocco Zikarsky in the 2nd round. He's averaging right now in the G League 13 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2.5 blocks per game. That's what he's averaging right now in the G League. It's just little shit like that AK misses on, and he's 19 years old. 19 years old. Only a couple of months older than Noah Essengate. You could have had both these young guys here. Developing them. That could be your front court of the future that you can be developing right now. But instead, no. You traded the pick for cash considerations and a move down. Now, I will say this. Lachlan Albrecht is cooking down in the G League too. And I will give some credit to that. I want to be clear here. Lachlan Albrecht is also cooking down in the G League. So maybe it still works out for the Bulls. Lachlan Albrecht's G League stats, let's go over this real quick. He's averaging 17 points per game, 9 rebounds, basically a steal and a block per game. He's shooting the ball 50% from the field and 45% from three-point range. So maybe the Bulls got it right. Who's can say? Maybe Lachlan Albrecht he also can turn into a decent backup center for the Bulls. So I'll give them that credit. Maybe Lachlan, but the difference is that Lachlan Albrecht is 6'8". Rocco Zikarsky is a legit 7'3", right? And when you talk about the Bulls and look how we got outworked versus Portland on the boards, having some legit size is a little bit different, right? Now, Lachlan is a dog. He's tough. He's a tough player. I think he's more skilled than people give him credit for. But Rocco Zikarsky is 7'3" and 230 pounds at 19 years old. The motherfucker ain't even able to drink yet. So those are the type of things when people talk about AK and his misses, those are the type of things that people are talking about, because like that if Rocco Zikarsky ends up working out and he was drafted with your pick at a position that you need, imagine what that's going to look like for the Bulls in the long term. Just imagine what that'll look like. And that's the type of stuff. That's the type of shit that AK misses on that continually brings some problems to this team. So I'm just saying, just looking at that. But we're not here to talk about that. Don't get me started on that, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of pistivity. Haize, what's going on with the lights, man? This is the second time I didn't see. What are you talking about? I'd never have the lights on live streams. Never. I don't have the lights on live streams. The lights are a pre-recorded episode thing only. You will never see the lights on behind me in the pregame on live streams. I just don't turn them on. It doesn't make any sense. What's the word, Haize? Chat, what's going on, Brazil Popular? What's the word, King Haize? It's been a damn minute. Hope you and yours doing well. Let's get this win. Absolutely, bro. Let's hope we get this dub. Oh, the Kings are open. So let me ask y'all this. For the people who say this, and I brought this up when I was talking about centers that were available, why do you want younger Vooch? Like, I just want to know that. Like, I don't think he's as good on the boards as Vooch. Maybe at this point they're about the same. But so do you want to lock yourself in to another 5 years of just a younger Nikola Vucevic player? Like seriously, ask yourself that. No, I mean, and that's no knock on Sabonis. He's a really good passer. He can shoot the three when he gets in rhythm. He's a solid post player. But trading for Domantas Sabonis is basically saying all the strengths and weaknesses that we currently have with Nikola Vucevic, just younger, maybe more consistent at this point, right? But I just don't understand why people want this. Like, if we're going to change the center, don't you guys want a different type of center? Like, or do you want, or like, because a lot of people that have been asking that, it's like, y'all complain about Vooch. You would be complaining about Sabonis within 3 months of us trading for Sabonis. Ryan is a real rim protector fan. Great point. Exactly. Like, and it, like a really good rim protector and a solid rebounder, right? Big facts. Kalkbrenner looking nice, and it was predictable that he would be at least solid. Exactly. Like, you got to look at players like that. Like Kalkbrenner, he may never be an all-star. He may never average a double-double for the entire season. But the style of center that, here's what I'll say. If the Bulls would have drafted Kalkbrenner, at the bare minimum, you would have had the next Amir Sheik. You would have had a backup center that probably would have been here 3 to 5 years. At the bare minimum. Then you could say, hey, we still want to go and find our starting center of the future, but we got Ryan Kalkbrenner here. He's going to be pretty damn good and pretty solid, right? And so those are the things you have to look at. And those are the things that, like, John Paxson was really good at before Gar Forman came in here. Paxson was really good at finding, like, you look at the solid role players that Paxson found in the second round. Andre Snow-Shione, if I'm not mistaken, was a second-round pick. Amir Sheik, I don't think was a second-round pick, but he was a draft and stash guy, right? So you look at that. There's also somebody else that I'm missing off the top of my head. Somebody else that was on the. Oh no, C.J. Watson was I think a second-round pick, but we didn't draft him. We had to sign him outright. But like that's how you solidify your bench. Rocco taken by a team that needs him the least. Is the G? Oh, the G League is absolutely fun to watch. Absolutely is fun to watch. 100%. Lockton is great, but Rocco is a different beast entirely. I mean, way different potential levels, right? Completely different levels of potential. Lachlan, it has some potential to be a solid bench big for you for sure, and I would never act like he doesn't. He has potential to be that, but you can see Rocco Zikarsky turning into a starting caliber center in the NBA. I want Noah to get some minutes this game, but I wouldn't expect him to do well whatsoever. I mean, hey, you never know. You never know. G League is a placebo. No, it's not really. Was Alex Caruso a placebo? Was Austin Reeves a placebo? You just got to know how to evaluate it and what you're doing there. When you're going to G League, you never want to think that G League production is going to equal 1-for-1 NBA production, because that's not it. But you want to look at skill sets and how those skill sets can fit on your team. That's what you want to look at in cases like that. Lachlan is 6'10". He's listed as 6'9". So if he's 6'10", great. But on the G League website, he's listed as 6'8", 236 pounds is what he's listed at. If he's 6'10", great. I'm just going off of what is here in front of us. Let me. Was he in the draft combine? Let me see. I don't know if he did draft combine. Lachlan Ulbrich draft combine. Let's see. So yeah, at the draft combine, he was measured 6'8", 6'8", 0.75. So he's not 6'10". No, that is barefoot. So okay, so he's probably close to. It's not adding a foot, so he's probably closer to 6'9", with shoes 6'9", but he's not 6'10". Now he does have a 6'11" wingspan, which is really good. That's really good to have a 6'11" wingspan, especially if you're going to be a shorter center, right? So he has a really solid wingspan, but he's not 6'10". Hey, you see Vucevic's post? Of course, I played it in the next. See, this is how I know you don't be watching the daily episodes, because I played a clip of that in the daily episode the day after the game. It's how I know you really don't fuck with me. No, see, you just expose yourself. It's not really fucking with me. That's sad, bro. That's real sad, man. Looking at centers in the next draft, didn't really see any I love, but admittedly, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyone you like? Yeah, and here's the thing. I did this whole thing of going and looking at centers. I get people are going to be like, there's no centers projected to go in the top 10. But you know what? Go and look. Some of the best centers that end up coming out of drafts really be the centers that are drafted between like 15 and 21. Those are really where some of the best centers come out of, and some of the more healthy centers as well, which is the key there. So Chris Sinak Jr. out of Houston is a guy that I'm really looking at. Legit 6'11", almost 250 pounds. He's a monster. You'll go and look at him. He's projected to go right outside the lottery, though, and I don't think the Bulls are going to be drafting that high. There's also Yaxel Lindenberg out of Michigan. He's about 6'10", so depending on how you look at that, I think he's averaging 20 and 10 right now, if I'm not mistaken, in college right now. No, he's averaging 15, 8, 3 assists, and 1.5 blocks and 1 steal per game. So skilled big man, think of him, right? I like him a lot. The new center out of Duke, Patrick Ngangba, I believe is how you pronounce it, 6'11", 250 pounds. There's some solid centers that I like in this draft. Now, there are none that you're going to look at. Like I said, none of them are projected to go like in the top 10, but typically you want to stay out of the centers that are projected to go top 10 because they usually have some health injuries there. So there's definitely centers that the Bulls can take for sure. Is it a stretch to say that we already have the starting center we could be looking for, Jalen Smith? Yes, that is a stretch because Jalen Smith is not consistently that good. He's just not. And I think that Jalen is a perfect bench big for you. You can play some power forward. You can play some center. I don't think Jalen Smith is a starter that you want as your starting center of the future. That's my personal thing. I mean, I know that he's on an amazing run right now, but his defense has never really been consistent over his career. The shooting comes and goes, right? So I like Jalen, and I would not mind Jalen staying on this team for a while. I just don't want Jalen to be the start. What the Bulls tried out as this is our starter center of the future. We're complete now. I'm not ready to say that about Jalen personally. Nah, Haize, I've been at my new job trying to get things together. You know, we locked in. Bro, you know I'm just messing with you, brother. Yeah, let's draft a center, but let's also make some trades on some of these expiring contracts, Vooch included. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. You're probably not going to see it. You're probably not going to see it. Like, don't get me wrong. The Bulls are set up to make any trade that they want. $90 million in expiring contracts, all their own first-round picks, a $17 million trade exception, another almost $3 million trade exception. The Bulls have a lot, probably the most tools at their disposal at the trade deadline that I've ever seen before. But this is AK that we're talking about. And AK is not going to sacrifice depth for a big splash move. Now, I'm not saying that AK may not make a splash move, but when you hear AK say things like we're not skipping steps, things like that, right? We're evaluating for long-term fit. We want to see who on this team is going to be a fit for us long-term and where we want to go. I think that all signals that, the Bulls will be listen. They'll listen to deals. I don't think they're going to close themselves off from listening to deals at all. That would just be stupid. But don't expect for the Bulls to make a big trade this year. I would just say that. Don't expect them to make a big trade. 10, Malawak, 11, Cedric Coward, 12, Noah Essengay. We were close to getting either Malawak or Coward. Listen, I tell you what right now, right? And Lonzo was traded already by then, if I'm not mistaken. But if you put Cedric Coward on this team, keep everything else the same, just let's say you flipped Noah Essengay for Cedric Coward. Noah Essengay still may be the better player long term. I don't know. But as far as right now, you put in Cedric Coward instead of Isaac Okoro in that starting lineup, the Bulls probably right now have 2 losses because he can shoot the three, he can create his own shot, he's an actual point of attack defender. What Isaac Okoro talked about himself being, Cedric Coward is really like that, right? And already proven that in his rookie year. Cedric Coward would have been amazing on this team. A 2-3 of Cedric Coward and Kobe White and what Cedric Coward does off ball and on ball with creating 3-point shots, man, bro, this team would be different, bro. If you can go after one player to get on this team, who would you want? That's a great question. I mean, he's injured. It still probably would be Walker Kessler, but he's hurt. If we're talking about any player that's not hurt, just in a pipe dream, it'll never happen, Jalen Duren. I think what Jalen Duren has turned into on this team would be perfect. He can get out in transition. He can slow down and play in the half court. Have you seen how he's taken centers off the dribble? And then look at how he's grown as a rim protector and on-ball defender this year. Jalen, I would love. He fits the timeline as far as age. He's a two-way player. He's a big body. It brings some needed real toughness to this team. I would absolutely love Jalen Duren on this team. Absolutely love Jalen on this team. Can a backcourt of Kobe and Giddey give us a ring in the future? I mean, it depends on how you fill out the rest of the roster. I hate questions like this because it always comes down to what's on the rest of the roster. So, I mean, yeah, it's possible. When you have a backcourt that alone accounts for almost 50% of your offense, and they both have made strides defensively, yeah, you can do that, but you got to have it's a tight needle that you got to thread with how you fill out the rest of the roster. Can teams weaponize cap space in the NBA, for example, like the Blackhawks have done multiple times, gaining high draft picks for absorbing yeah, you see it all the time in the NBA. But the Bulls don't like to do that because typically in the NBA to do that, you have to absorb long-term bad salary. And because the Bulls don't pay the luxury tax, they don't like to do that. I wouldn't want Lauri Markkanen on the team at all. Lauri Markkanen is 7-foot Zach LaVine. Like, just go and look at it. He puts up great numbers, but the teams that he puts up those numbers on never win. They never win at a high level. I'm not saying that Lauri can't be a good player on a team, but he'd have to be your third or fourth option. Lauri is right now. People want to throw in the empty calorie thing to Zach LaVine. All that is still Lauri Markkanen as well. Thank you, Haize, for giving Cedric Coward his flowers. Coward was my choice for the Bulls to draft, but the Bulls just missed out. I mean, that was Pat the designer's big choice for the Bulls too. Like Pat would have probably sold 10 years of his life if it meant that the Bulls could draft Cedric Coward. Lauri's never really had good players play with him since he approved. Is that not the same thing that we were saying with Zach LaVine? That he never really had good players around him? I'm just saying. Everything that you can say about Lauri Markkanen, we at one point said about Zach LaVine too. And Lauri suffers from some of the same. Terrible defensively. Sometimes down the stretches. I mean, offensively, he's always consistent. But go and look at Lauri down the stretches of tight games. Defensively, he makes some big mistakes and lapses at times. Hell, look at when we played them. Very good offensively. Defensively, not so much. Lauri Markkanen is 7-foot Zach LaVine. And I stand on that. I stand on that 10 toes down. Pistons could trade Duren to avoid paying him because he's going to command a large contract after the season he's had. Yeah, but they're going to want this thing. Keep in mind, the Pistons right now are the number one team in the East, and their championship window looks like it's legitimately opening. I think that they get rid of Jaden Ivey because he's also a restricted free agent at the end of the season before they do Jalen Duren. I remember last season being told I was crazy when I said Giddey would be the best player on the roster given the keys. First, Lonzo was better. I was better, but Caruso was better. Who said that? Like, the people, I remember when people were like, oh, Josh Giddey isn't even going to start on this team because Lonzo's back healthy. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what are you smoking? How many dicks are you smoking right now to think that? I'm just glad that Josh Giddey's proving people wrong by his play on the basketball court. That's the thing that I'm really proud of because he's going out there and just doing it on the court. He's just doing it on the court. So it's really hard. It's really hard to knock anything that Josh Giddey's doing when you watch him play because you see he's improved in so many places. So many places. Haize, you reject me saying Kobe White is Zach LaVine Jr., but claim Lauri is Zach. Yeah, because I'm sorry. It's stupid as fuck to try to compare Kobe White to Zach LaVine. They aren't nearly the same. Zach LaVine doesn't rebound like Kobe White. He doesn't assist like Kobe White. He's just not that. He doesn't make the mistakes of dribbling off his foot down the stretches of close games like like Zach LaVine. Kobe White is a better defender than Zach LaVine. When I say that Lauri Markkanen is 7-foot Zach LaVine, I mean in the sense that, keep in mind, listen, put your listening ears on and understand comprehension and context of what I'm saying. I'm saying in the sense that he puts up big numbers on bad teams because he's the number one scoring option. He's not going to do that on a winning team. He's just not going to do that on a winning team. I do not think Lauri will want to come back to Chicago anyway. Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, that part too. That part. I mean, listen, he's changed as a player. He's changed as a man. You can never say never. We've seen some players go back to teams that didn't make any sense on, but we'll see. I would love to see the Pistons and OKC NBA Finals matchup. That would be fun. That would definitely be fun. Kobe White ain't nothing like Zach LaVine. I want them plants he be smoking. Look, bro, people really think they be cooking with that. And I'm just like, I could break it down from an analytic standpoint. I could break it down from where they get their shot standpoint. I can get it down from a facilitating standpoint. They're not even close to the same player at all. Lauri can average 40 points per game for a lottery team, but making your team better is much. That's a fact. That's a fact. Haize, are you and Steve? Yeah, that's my brother. Me and Steve are always good. If you guys don't watch Chicago Bears Central, we were just on Bears Central last night dancing after the Bears won to juke music. So, like, Steve-O's my brother. Like, I need everybody to realize this. Everybody that you see, from C-Dub to Kev to Bobby to Steve-O to Pat the Designer, we may bump heads sometimes, right? And it's unfortunate when you guys see that live, but best believe, it's never no beef with me and my brothers at all. There never will be. There never has been. And, you know, that's just brothers. Like, we're going to bump heads sometimes. The other side of that is that what we do is public, right? We don't bump heads no more or less than any other brothers. But never mistake it. It will never be any beef between me and my brothers. We still breaking bread. We still getting money together. And we still going to always do this thing together. That's always going to be. That's it. You don't know what juke music is?
You better bear down every damn day. You better bear down every damn day. Now stand up and bear down.
Hold on.
Now stand up and bear down. You better bear down every damn day. You better bear down every damn day.
Come on, you fuck with me. Come on. Have some fun. Come on, fuck with me. Come on, man. What y'all talking about? Get it together. What we talking about? Come on, man. You got to show that footwork, my boy. You got to come to Chicago, bro. Like, y'all got to actually come to Chicago and pick up the vibes, man. You don't know what juke music, that wasn't even juke music, but you don't know what juke music is? Come on, man. What we doing, bro? What we doing? But all right, y'all, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. I will catch you guys on the live call, man. You guys are amazing. Make sure you guys are following us at Bulls Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773. Wait, the starter's out. Hold on. Wait a second. Let's see who we got for the starter lineup today. I didn't even think to check it before we got out of here. P. Will is starting at center. So the starting lineup today is Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Matas Buzelis, Patrick Williams is your starting center today. That's crazy. All right, I'll catch y'all on the live call. Love you guys.